Hello viewers, in today's lecture we will be discussing about Kabuki theatre tradition. This is lecture part 2. Kabuki actors. Earlier, male actors had to portray women characters in Kabuki presentations, but now when it had become extremely necessary that they should do so in every performance, professional class of women actors Onagata grew into prominence. Scottish scholar Paul Binney, who lived in Tokyo for more than 5 years, and Japanese Kabuki theatre and Noh theatre became his passion. According to Binney, one of the major developments in acting was a direct result of this banning of women from the stage was that male actors obviously had to play the female roles, and the Onagata, the female role specialist, was born. Onagata have produced a highly stylized version of femininity which seeks to represent a female type, and they have many methods to reduce their physical size on stage, as well as the refined movements and an extremely distinctive falsetto voice which are a very male view of women. In the Meiji period, it was suggested that women could now act in Kabuki, but this was rejected since that would be too real, and the art of Kabuki lies in artifice. Attention to skills and pride in accomplishment improved the outcome of the plays markedly, and individual actors established family claims to perform certain characters. Dramatic skill of a highest order took the place of personal grace and of sex appeal upon the Kabuki stage. The history of Kabuki tradition is very interesting, and it demands a very careful investigation. Without patronage and amid vulgarity, Kabuki was able to find a form that was so genuinely fulfilling for everyone that one can but wonder what might have been its achievement had it received encouragement in freedom and guidance in art. In the Kabuki tradition, a constant interplay between the actors and the spectators took place in almost every Kabuki performance. The actors frequently interrupt in between to address the crowd, and the latter responded with appropriate praise or clapped their hands according to a prescribed formula. They also shout out the names of their favorite actors in the course of the performance. Unlike in most Western performances, in which since the late 17th century a proscenium art has separated audience from the actors, the Kabuki performers constantly intrude on the audience with the use of two hanamichi, elevated passageways from the main stage to the back of the auditorium, and where actors are showered with gifts, etc. The audience was fenced in by 3 stages. The hanamichi is also used for actors' exits, and a solo actor can remain at the shizen, the place of the stage very near to the audience, while the tricolored stripped curtain is pulled across the proscenium closing of the stage and leaving the main actor to the climax final moment. The Mavari Butai, the revolving stage, was also developed in Japan long before the West and allows scenes to be changed rapidly without a break in the action. As characters move to the next set, which appears around from the back of the previous set. The makeup and costumes. Kabuki costumes are designed and made to be the focal point for every Kabuki performance. In the beginning, Kabuki actors were responsible for providing their own costumes, and once they became too elaborate, the actors began to demand the purchase of their costumes from the royalty. Over the years, these costumes have not changed. In this day and age, there is a little freedom on patterns and colors, but not on the style of the costumes. The kimonos are 2 separate pieces, upper and lower, concealed by a wide sash for easy costume change on stage. When a performer changes on stage, the costume color may change and design may change, but the pattern on the material never changes. The consistency of the pattern is indicative of Kabuki theatre. As a major chunk of Kabuki performance is constant awareness of the actor. This never changing pattern is a constant reminder to the audience that the actor is the same. To change the costume, the strings are pulled from the kimono to reverse the dress. Traditional dressing of major Kabuki characters makes them easily identifiable. Kabuki characters: monks dressed in white, princess in red, a tattooed thief, profusely costumed courtesans walking on high black clogs and black hat wearing coat noble are identifiable by the distinctive garb of their class. A housewife would never wear bold patterns of any kind, as bold patterns usually are reserved for a courtesan. Kabuki remained particularly a representative of the common people, in reality a protest against social as well as dramatic traditions. This involves bold lines in red and blue painted on the face. The red lines are symbol of virtue or strength, while the blue lines are associated with evil. Ghost and certain animal roles also involve kumadori makeup. The komodori is used to not disguise emotions but to highlight the expression of the actors. The makeup is applied to follow the natural lines of the face to show expression with great clarity and force. 27 known types of komodori are in existence. A war-ready warrior is shown with bold black curves for eyebrows, with broad graded lines of red which curve upward from the nose and brow and around the cheek. The handsome and young hero is identified by two spatula-shaped eyebrows. Red lines under the eyes curve up to meet the outer tips of the eyebrows. The top lip is an outline in a thin red curve with a touch of black at each corner. When the makeup is being applied on, the actor puts on a silk cap that fits tightly around the forehead. This is both the foundation for the wig as well as a way to hide the hair and smooth down the forehead. Oil is used to set the foundation and it covers the face, neck and front of the silk cap. In the next step, a white matte makeup is applied to cause a smooth surface. Once the white cream makeup is applied, the actor draws the eyebrows and lips with the color design for his character. Wigs of Kabuki. The Kabuki wigs have no equal in the world of dramatic traditions. Most of the wigs are made of thick black hair. However, they do vary in accordance with age, sex, social category and status. The only exception when black wigs are not used is when some supernatural character like ghosts are to appear on the stage. A change in wigs that a particular character may be using is intended to express a heightening of emotions as well as demonstrate psychological change. Thus, the wigs of Kabuki are unparalleled in the world of theatre traditions. The tradition of wearing a wig arisen from the era of young men projecting different characters of Kabuki plays. The young boys would shave a part of their head to show virility. When it became illegal to be a male prostitute in 1648, the actors began to wear a piece of cloth over their heads to cover the bald spots. This was later replaced by a dark purple silk patch to look like hair, and further this was replaced by wigs, and thus this wonderful tradition began. There are 84 types of wigs that have been clearly identified. Each part of the wig has a special name. The parts of the wig are the hair above the forehead, the sweep of hair at either side of the face, the coil of the hair in the bottom of the neck, the knot of hair on top of the head. When these are combined in different combinations, it makes each individual hairstyle to make each character. Purpose of Kabuki presentations. The basic purpose of Kabuki plays or presentations is to entertain and to allow the actors to demonstrate their skills, but there is a subtle message in every Kabuki play, and that is to reward the virtuous and punish the wicked. Thus, the plays often presents conflicts involving such religious ideas as the transitory nature of the world from Buddhism and the importance of duty from Confucianism, as well as more general moral sentiment. Despite the ease with which it can assimilate different new forms, Kabuki is a much formalized theatre tradition. Kabuki dance is most probably the best known feature of Kabuki. Rarely an opportunity is missed to insert dancing, whether the restrained, free flowing movement of the Onagata or female dancers or the exaggerated posturing of the male characters of Kabuki. The acting in Kabuki can be so stylized that it becomes virtually indistinguishable from dancing. In the present modern times, Kabuki theatre is regularly being performed at the National Theatre, Tokyo. The city was also home to Kabuki Theatre, which closed in 2010. An office tower which would include the theatre was scheduled to be built on the site. Other theatres in Tokyo have occasional performances. Troupes of Kabuki actors also perform outside Tokyo. There are several Kabuki theatre groups, but their membership often overlap. At the National Theatre, the duration of an average performance is about 4 hours. The theatre emphasizes on the importance of the Kabuki play itself, trying to maintain the rich history and the tradition and to preserve Kabuki as a classic form. Difference between Noh and Kabuki. In the tradition of Noh theatre, the character is usually portrayed in the first half as a false sense of self. When the second half starts, the character usually shows their true self. The change in Noh characters occurs off stage, while in Kabuki theatre the change occurs on stage. The costumes of Noh tradition also differ from those worn in Kabuki tradition, because in Noh tradition they are not identified exclusively with individual roles or plays, but different costumes of Noh are used to project different circumstances. The Noh masks and the Kabuki wigs serve the same basic purpose in the two different theatre traditions. They both establish the age, sex, social class and status. They also help to show mood and emotional changes. While a tilting of the head in Noh shows emotions, the position and the tilt of the wig in Kabuki show similar emotional changes. The most amazing part of Noh costume designing is the elaborate nature of the costumes and the simplicity of the mask. Meanwhile, in Kabuki, Both the costume and the makeup are extremely detailed. The simplicity of the Noh mask strongly counters the fancy makeup, while the simplicity of the Noh mask helps to project the emotions more strongly. The fancy makeup makes the emotions in Kabuki more pronounced and large. Conclusion: both Kabuki and Noh traditions are wonderful and most elegant theatre traditions in the world theatre. I believe you must have enjoyed this talk on Kabuki theatre tradition. See you next time. I thank you all.